They say size doesn't matter, but tell that to the people who own the biggest of everything, from pizzas to robots and wait, is that a dog? Back in 2012, a bunch of chefs in Rome set the world record for biggest pizza ever created. That record was finally broken in 2023 by YouTuber Eric.
This record is mine.
With the help of Pizza Hut. Over 6,000 kilograms of dough, 2,200 liters of pizza sauce, 4 tons of cheese, and about 630,000 slices of pepperoni went into this epic pizza party. Eddie Hall's not your run-of-the-mill bodybuilder. He's taken out countless Strongmen awards, including one where he pulled a 44,000-pound plane 24 meters along a runway. His upper body strength is next level. From bending fry pans with his bare hands to bench pressing multiple people at the same time, those arms should be considered deadly weapons. You especially don't want to get into a boxing ring with them. I've seen what he does to boxing machines at the arcade. Knickers from Australia is the world's tallest cow. Standing 6'4" and weighing over 1.5 tons, she's a true giant and literally stands out from the herd. Having a tall cow does have its advantages. You can milk this one standing up. This is the largest dog in the world, measuring an intimidating 3 feet and 5 inches. That height blows out to almost 7 feet when this Great Dane stands on his back legs. Zeus, as he's lovingly named, weighs around 170 pounds, although it's been a long time since he's fit on some scales. They call this bike stupid tall, and at 15 feet in height, the name checks out. You gotta be crazy to want to risk life and limb for a ride on this completely impractical bicycle. Staying upright definitely takes some getting used to, but the view is worth it. At over 18 feet long, this is one of the largest crocodiles in the world. Named Lolong, it terrorized an entire village in the Philippines. And it took almost 100 people to capture this massive reptile. When lions and tigers crossbreed, you get a much bigger liger. And Odin is the biggest of them all. He's 900 pounds and stands over 11 feet when on his hind legs. They're considered to be the largest cat species in terms of size. I think Odin is proof of that. Found in Cambodia's Mekong River, this 660-pound stingray is said to be more than 13 feet long. It's the world's largest ever freshwater fish caught by humans. That's gotta sting for whoever came in second. They call him the Georgian Hulk, and with just one look at Levon Saganavshali, it's easy to see why. Apart from having comically large arms that make real firearms look like toy guns, Levon is a 7-time world champion arm wrestler. He's got a grip that makes most opponents want to tap out. How does he achieve such incredible strength? I guess it's easy when you can hand tow a 10,000-pound Hummer and power slap watermelons in your spare time. Bigger usually means scarier, unless you're a Flemish giant rabbit. And these fluffy heavyweights can grow up to 4 feet in length, weigh up to 50 pounds, and eat over 4,000 carrots a year. But they wouldn't hurt a fly. Hey! This giant centipede will keep you up all night. It's the longest and deadliest centipede species in the world, with enough venom to kill an adult human. They're native to the Amazon rainforest, as well as my nightmares. Standing over 3 feet tall, this rooster is the boss of his farm. If he can't keep the fox out of your henhouse, no one can. Romario dos Santos Alves is obsessed with looking like the Incredible Hulk. So much, in fact, he spent most of his life chasing one title, the man with the biggest arms. While lifting weights isn't enough to sustain his bulging physique, Romario turns to oil to pump up his arms. When your doctor tells you that you're only allowed 1 block of chocolate per week on your new diet, you should stock up with this group of Dutch chocolatiers. They created this monster block featuring 383 square meters and over 27 tons of handmade chocolate. The diabetes apparently comes free of charge. This kangaroo looks like he hasn't skipped arm day at the gym in forever.
Those are strong arms.
Messing with him is a knockout waiting to happen.
Yeah, okay.
With a wingspan of up to 3.5 inches, Madagascar moths are some of the largest and most beautiful insects in the world. I'm just glad mosquitoes don't get that big. They say everything's bigger in Texas, and this longhorn bull continues that tradition. Meet Bucklehead. His horns measure a record-breaking 11 feet, 7.5 inches from tip to tip. That's one guy you don't want to butt heads with. There's nothing quite as intimidating as driving by a massive moose in the middle of the night.
Wow, Kalia, look at him, he's huge. Hey there, bud.
Check out the cars next to him. He's bigger than all of them.
Bud, you got him.
That's pretty good.
While most bodybuilders bulk to look good in the mirror, Blessing Awadou is taking his body transformation to new heights, aiming for the coveted title of Mr. Olympia. This Nigerian-born Irish bodybuilder has dedicated the past few years to bulking and sculpting his body to be bigger and better. Now, some might say he has an unhealthy obsession with protein powder, but whatever Blessing's doing, it seems to be working. The only downside to being this massive, you apparently forget how to use the front door. When you need to feed an enormous crowd, there's nothing like an omelet made from 10,000 eggs. In this Belgian festival, hundreds of chefs and volunteers crack, beat, and cook the eggs before pouring it into a comically large frying pan. It takes a team to stir the omelet as it cooks before being served to the crowd with a side of bread. What do you do when you have the world's largest axe? Chop absolutely everything that you can get your hands on, that's what. From beer kegs to fire extinguishers, not even a Tesla's safe from the chopping block. When you have a pest infestation of giant mutated rats, you need a giant mousetrap. Based on the testing regime, it's extremely effective against watermelons, coconuts, and cans of Coke. This is the Atlas moth. Found in the forests of Southeast Asia, it's known as the biggest moth in the world. Just imagine the mothballs you'd need to keep it off your clothes.
Yeah, boy.
No, this cow isn't on steroids. The Belgian blue bull suffers from a rare genetic mutation known as double muscling. It's either that or he hasn't missed a workout since the day he was born. This isn't your average garden snail. The African snail is one of the biggest species in the world and can grow up to 8 inches in length. Good for you, little guy. No, that's not a helicopter landing, it's a Hercules beetle. Found in the rainforests of Central America, they're the biggest ones in the world. Big enough to lose sleep over. Playing with your Hot Wheels car set as a kid, you never imagined a car attempting a loop in real life, let alone 2. This 125-ton loop is over 6 stories tall, and anyone dumb enough to attempt it will be subjected to 7 G's of pressure. When your mom told you not to sit too close to the TV, she probably didn't expect you to bring home a television the size of a large family swimming pool. This thing's so big you can watch it from the neighbor's house.
Bye, have a great time.
Swings are no longer just for kids in the playground. This swing in China is one of the biggest in the world, swinging daredevils over a cliff with nothing between your dangling feet and the massive drop below. I have a feeling one push is more than enough. If you've ever wanted to go back to when you were a short kid trying to play your favorite arcade machine at the mall, here's your opportunity. This is the world's biggest arcade machine. Built 2.75 times the size of the regular model, this turns button mashing into a workout. This is what happens when anime meets real life. Yokohama in Japan is home to a replica Gundam-style robot that actually moves. Standing over 18 meters tall and featuring 24 moving joints, it's ready just in case of a kaiju attack. In the world of strongmen, J.D. Anderson is revered on a whole nother level. While others may want to flex their power by picking up tons of weight, Anderson has a different approach in mind. The strongman has pulled off some absolutely inhuman feats as nothing more than a warm-up, but even those pale in comparison to what you're about to see next. In 2017, J.D. would up the ante and earn his Iceman nickname after attempting to break the most solid slabs of ice with his head. Just imagine if your body were these blocks. Probably not the best idea. This massive bull puts every other bull to shame. Native to India and Pakistan, the Sibi bull breed can grow to be almost 7 inches tall and weigh well over a ton. That's probably heavier than your car. When your pet tiger is big enough to knock you over for milk, it may be time to get a cat instead. This massive alligator decided to pay a surprise visit to all golfers on the green. You know you're in Florida when your golf course becomes Jurassic Park. What these two turtles lack in speed, they make up for in size. Native to Aldabra, this species of turtle can easily weigh over 500 pounds, and they move surprisingly well, considering they're over 100 years old. This guy turned a Canadian wolf into his best friend. They can get up to 100 pounds of pure fear-inducing predator. Imagine breaking into a house and running into this guy. Even among elephants, this guy's a real-life giant, and he's got the tusks to prove it. Look at him down 5 gallons of water like it's nothing. The average bluefin tuna is worth $20 a pound. This catch is so big, these fishermen may be able to send their kids to college after all. They say it's hard to reach the handlebars on a chopper. Well, on the world's largest motorbike, it's even harder just to climb aboard. 6 times larger than a standard motorbike, this 5-ton monster is over 5 meters tall. Just try to stay clear of overhead power lines. Ever get to the end of that 4-nugget combo and you're still hungry? How about digging into this massive nugget and fries combo? You'll find 7 pounds of chicken in each nugget and several potatoes per french fry. And if you're still hungry afterwards, I don't think I can help you.
Yeah.
They call them Jurassic Doritos.
Doritos chips.
And they may or may not have altered genes involved in their creation. One thing's for sure though, no one's got the munchies anymore. This is a normal-sized Xbox, and this is a giant replica that works just as well as the original. Built from wood and perfectly painted, not a single detail was missed when designing this 2-meter-high Xbox. Even the buttons work. This is only a single sushi roll, just upsized to ridiculous proportions. Designed to be the equivalent of 45,000 sushi rolls, this world record snack featured 3,000 pounds of cooked rice, salmon, cucumbers, and nori seaweed. Most people get defensive when you point out they have a big mouth, but not Francisco Domingo. He's the owner of the world's widest mouth, opening to 6.69 inches without stretching. But his main party trick, however, is fitting things in his mouth that just shouldn't be possible. All those years messing around finally paid off when this guy created the largest paper plane in existence. 122 inches long and constructed from high-quality polystyrene, the classic design still holds up in the flight test. The hacksmith made a giant Thor hammer, and true to legend, he made sure that no one could ever pick it up. And not only is this multi-ton weapon an engineering feat in its own right, it also doubles as a smashing tool when dropped from 100 feet. This is the largest football in the world. Measuring 80 centimeters in diameter and weighing over 3 kilograms, the jumbo football is about as practical as you'd expect for something this size. It's like trying to kick a really heavy beach ball. If you're like this guy and ice cream bars just aren't big enough to be satisfying, why not make one yourself? Only 10 times bigger. This ice cream bar's so big, it needed a wood plank instead of a popsicle stick. There's normal ping pong, and then there's supersized table tennis where your paddle's so big, it makes missing the ball virtually impossible. Do you ever wonder how they sign those giant novelty-sized checks? With a giant pen, of course. Measuring in at 5.5 meters long, it's so heavy, it needs at least 5 people to lift it into position. For a hunger that just won't quit, you need the world's longest pizza. Assembled on a makeshift conveyor belt, this monster snack consists of 8,000 pounds of pizza dough, 5,600 pounds of tomato sauce, and 3,600 pounds of mozzarella cheese, measuring in at 6,333 feet. I just hope you're hungry. This is Bigfoot, and with 10 foot tires attached to the wheels, there's absolutely nowhere you can't go. Standing 15 feet, 6 inches tall, Bigfoot holds the Guinness World Record for the largest tires on a vehicle ever recorded. Marcus Daly's the proud owner of the world's largest hot dog cart, measuring in at 12 feet 2.75 inches in height and 23 feet 2 inches wide. This oversized novelty is actually a fully functioning restaurant. Now, while everything is supersized, luckily the hot dogs you can buy are normal. This guy built a matchbox 20 times the size of the original. Hand mixing flammable resin and making sure everything was to scale was just the beginning. It all came down to the strike test. When you're a chocoholic, the idea of a 30-pound Kit Kat sounds amazing, but there isn't a sweet tooth in the world that can get through that much chocolate. Upsized from 1.5 ounces up to 30 pounds, this mega Kit Kat is a heart attack waiting to happen. Meet Abish P. Dominic, a man who needs nothing more than his own 2 hands to bring into battle. After studying a type of martial arts called Kalari, the self-proclaimed hammer hands went on to set records with his iron-like fists. First up were coconuts. He managed to smash a whopping 146 in just 60 seconds. Then came the concrete slabs and house bricks, obliterating them with little to no effort. The only thing stopping this guy is a splinter. Take a look at the giant shoebill stork. With its foot-long beak and a wingspan of 8 feet from tip to tip, this prehistoric bird is the closest thing we've got to a real-life dinosaur. They say it takes practice to climb a horse. Well, you'll need a ladder to climb the tallest horse in the world. Big Jake stands almost 7 feet tall, not including his head and neck, and weighs an incredible 2,500 pounds. Now that's horsepower. These giant sea lions make this boat look like something that belongs in a bathtub. The owner's not going to be pleased when he finds these two pirates on deck. No, this isn't a bear dressed as a dog, it's a Tibetan Mastiff. Weighing over 330 pounds, this is the only guard dog you'll ever need. Step aside, Batman. This fruit bat is known as the giant crowned flying fox, one of the largest species of bat in the world, with an impressive wingspan of up to 5.6 feet. Its wings are about as wide as Tom Cruise is tall. If you think sharks are scarier than fish, check out this giant sturgeon. Measuring 11 feet, this fish is about as long as a Mini Cooper. This vulture is not only the biggest bird in the world, it's also the scariest. Legend has it the last person who called him a bird brain was never heard from again. If your wife calls you in to kill a spider and you see this guy, you should probably just move out. This is a huntsman spider, and of course, it's native to Australia.
I have to go make a call.
If rats are your worst nightmare, get a load of this guy. You'll need a giant mousetrap to keep this guy from raiding your kitchen. Hey! This fisherman fought this catfish for more than an hour before landing his prize. This catfish was 8 feet 9 inches long and weighed 280 pounds. Talk about making a splash. This massive wild boar was spotted in Hong Kong digging through trash to feed his family. Either we need bigger trash cans or smaller wild boars. This Eurasian eagle owl is one of the largest in the world, with a wingspan of up to 6 feet and can live up to 20 years. Standing over 5 feet tall, Oklahoma Sam is the world's tallest donkey. He's practically a horse. This is the largest sword ever used in battle. Wielded by a giant Dutch soldier in the 16th century, this almost 7-foot-tall sword weighs more than 15 pounds. Most people would struggle to even hold it up, let alone swing it. When you're a big kid that never quite grew up, the world's largest air hockey table is the ultimate toy. Built 10 times larger than your regular version, they needed 2 industrial blowers just to get the air pressure. The result? An exhausting game of air hockey. When bigger is definitely better, this guy built a larger-than-life replica of a Nintendo Switch. Measuring 30 inches tall and 70 inches wide, all the supersized buttons work just as they would on the handheld version. The display even got an upgrade to 4K. If you can't swim or have a fear of heights, you may want to look away. The Kilimanjaro slide in Brazil is a terrifying 164 feet high, where riders can expect to hit speeds of 57 miles per hour. This is the world's tallest climbing tower. People with a fear of heights need not apply, as the structure towers an intimidating 47 meters into the sky. You can play it safe on the beginner walls, or try your luck on the expert runs that feature overhangs and vertical ridges. Just whatever you do, don't look down. This is the largest ice cream cake ever. In a world record-setting operation, Dairy Queen constructed this 22,000-pound monster. It took a whole team more than 14 hours to build the cake, using 20,000 pounds of ice cream, 200 pounds of sponge cake, and more than 300 pounds of icing and crushed Oreos. Constructed in Denmark, this massive structure is actually the world's tallest ever sandcastle. Beating the previous record by 3 meters, this king of the beach measures in at 21.16 meters tall and required 5,000 tons of premium sand to build. They're just lucky it didn't rain. In probably the most frustrating record attempt of all time, these two friends built the world's tallest domino tower. While the old record stood at 6 meters, these two blasted past to 10 before it all came crashing down. This is the world's largest truck. Introducing Monster Max 2, a fusion of science fiction and post-apocalyptic engineering. Standing 14 feet tall and weighing north of 50,000 pounds, this has to be the most terrifying thing you'll ever find on a farm. Measuring an impressive 43 feet from tip to tip, this replica Gibson can't be strummed like a normal guitar. You need at least 6 friends to play a chord, and it's not gonna sound great. What's the first thing you do after baking a ridiculously oversized replica Oreo cookie? Try to find a big glass of milk to match. While the dunk might not be as classy as it was when the Oreo was smaller, it's still just as satisfying. Wandering around Manzhouli Walk, you'd think you're wandering the streets of a Russian theme park, but this Matryoshka-themed square is a Chinese tourist attraction full of larger-than-life babushka dolls. Blossom is the tallest cow in the world. Towering over most humans at 6 feet 2 inches, this big bovine is definitely a tall glass of milk. Being a tall cow has its disadvantages though. It's a longer distance to the ground to eat grass.